Hi, I'm Chandler Lippum, and this summer I spent my time interning at TRC Environmental Corporation. And TRC is a consulting firm. They've been around since the 60s, and their headquarters are in Lowell, Massachusetts, but there's offices all over the U.S., and there's one in Norcross, which is where I interned. And each branch kind of focuses on maybe a different aspect. And so the branch in Norcross really focused on utilities and pipeline construction. So they focus mainly on environment, energy, and sustainability. I found the office to be a really unique place. There were tons of different people, and I didn't really expect that. I mean, it was a small office, probably 30 people, but there were archaeologists, ecologists, biologists, a lot of people doing GIS work, engineers, and a couple people who have either come and spoken at Roundtable or graduated from Cornell and worked there. So I was familiar with some of the people, and it was really exciting to walk in there and hear the same language that we speak here at Cornell. Being able to talk about soils and hydrology outside of the classroom was really cool. So I guess why I wanted this internship was really, like Cliff said earlier, to understand what consulting is and kind of see the process behind permitting and licensing. So I guess I'll give you an example. TRC does a lot of work with wetland restoration and permitting, stream total maximum daily loads, wastewater management, and like I said, GIS work. And Andy told me, he's like the head of the office, he told me over the phone in my interview, like, be prepared to work with what you're given and not come in here trying to save the planet, because they get a lot of students fresh out of college who want to do great things, but are not very concerned with, I guess, pleasing the client and complying with laws would be the biggest goal of theirs, as opposed to just being environmentally sound. So the process of permitting and licensing, first you have to go through FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and I got to help draft an environmental assessment for a project that was basically already industrialized. It had been an old project, and they just wanted to expand on it. So there wasn't anything threatening the area, like no wetlands, no endangered species, nothing like that. And so what they really needed was just to draft this assessment, which is technically from FERC to TRC, but we write it, and FERC is just like, okay, that works. And it was basically just an expansion of a project that had already gone underway. So that was kind of cool, just getting to see a report and help kind of organize it, even though I didn't write much of it. So one project, which I can kind of talk about because it's not, you can Google it, it's pretty, hi, sorry, I started a little bit early.
That's fine.
It's called the Sable Trail Transmission, and it's a natural gas pipeline that's going to be built from Alabama to Florida. Here it is. And they send teams out every 2 weeks to collect data on endangered species in the area, wetlands, any sort of cultural artifacts for archaeologists, that sort of stuff. And to do this, we have to get a permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and it has to comply with the Clean Water Act, Section 404, which basically says you can't fill or dredge material, and then the Rivers and Harbors Act, which talks about any navigable waters. You have to have a permit to work on those. And all of this complies with NEPA, which basically says if you're going to do any project, you have to take into account what effects it's going to have on the environment. Here's an example, just a summary. We would be using this in NWP 12, and the 10404 is Clean Water Act and Rivers and Harbors, and then a PCN would be required, which basically is a pre-construction notification where TRC sends in a kind of draft write-up to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and they say, okay, this looks good, and you kind of get the okay without having to do an entire application for a permit. So my daily tasks, that's my little cubicle. I worked a lot on the computer. I didn't really do much field work, a lot of data processing. So when they would send these teams out into the field to collect data for endangered species, I would log it into our system and practice quality assurance, quality control methods where it would not only be on our system, but it would be sent to the headquarters in Lowell, Massachusetts. And so I was doing a lot of communication in the office, just kind of keeping people up to date. Okay, this came in today. Oh, we're missing this file. We don't have this information. And so over the summer, I was also working on a rare, threatened, endangered species field guide for kind of just maybe the non-scientists who were in the office. I was able to just make a little booklet of, it has pictures and a description and their habitat and what counties are going to be affected according to this map, and what species you would find in each area. So once they got down to Florida, there was a lot of gopher tortoise habitat, and some were spotted. So I was kind of spearheading the gopher tortoise survey analysis. They were sending me GIS files and I guess just data, like here's an example. Here's a wetland sheet, and there would be a similar one for the RTE species. But on here, you've got, does it qualify as a wetland? Does it have hydric soil present? Hydric vegetation? What is the soil like? And so all of these things have to be like either scanned if it's a hard copy, or saved and moved and then uploaded to a different drive and that sort of thing. So I was just doing a lot of grunt work basically. My experience was really helped through what I've learned here at Warnell. I felt very comfortable in the office because I've gained a lot of terminology from my forest hydrology class, soils and hydro. Field methods was really good just because, it was a basic sort of class that helped me understand data management and just certain units they may be using, or vocabulary. I felt a little lacking in wildlife ID. I had all the information I needed from the office, but it would have been nice to have taken a wildlife elective and kind of had that background knowledge. And then I'm taking natural resource policy next semester, but it would have been nice to have just some background going in. And this is a picture of some old soil surveys that they don't use anymore, but they're all over the office, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, I think that's it. Do y'all have any questions?